we have Prop 63, which taxes those that make $1 million or more to fund mental health services. But if I can get a pretty significant deduction on my Schedule A, I'm going to get below the $1 million taxable income. So now that program suffers as well. So maybe as if this moves forward, maybe we look at the ramifications on how it affects other issues, in the state. So I guess maybe to close, Mr. Chair, if we start diluting what is a contribution at the state level, and the federal government watches what we're doing, which is, for a lot of people, you were seeing all kinds of adjectives described for this bill. But if the federal government says, okay, we've already raised the standard deduction to $24,000, why don't we just do it even more? Or let's just not even allow you to deduct contributions at all. Let's just, for the whole country, and then this thing shuts down immediately. And I'm just wondering if we are jeopardizing a national tax structure by trying to be clever or creative, whatever C word we want to use. And then I'm already nervous about this tax bill and how it will affect nonprofit organizations, because if you can no longer deduct your contribution, that's going to have some impact on whether or not you make a contribution. So I think I'd want to be careful how we address this thing. And so maybe, Mr. Chair, yesterday I presented a bill, and I was criticized because the bill was not surgically precise on fixing a problem. And unfortunately, my colleagues didn't want to let me move forward to make amendments on it. And it was even, even called mean-spirited, because I was fighting for landowners of mobile home parks, people that actually would maybe want to make contributions for their income taxes. So it's sort of funny that I was going after cheaters, and how dare I. But this bill is nowhere close to being surgically precise. So that's where I'm having maybe a wound here, Mr. President Pro Tem. But Senator Laura even went after me last year for going and defending millionaires, and said, boy, thanks for taking care of those that, the yacht owners. And it was a fun time. So it's let it go. But it's it's kind of like it's rich that you guys are trying to help the wealthy now in California. So welcome aboard, maybe to use. So with that, I guess to make a commentary, thanks for being worried about facing higher taxes. That didn't seem to be the attitude last year in California. So with that, I'm having real difficulty as one practitioner or former retired with the contrivance component of this. And so I'm going to have a tough time with this bill. But thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to have a little fun with the professors as bookends for the President Pro Tem.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moorlach. We have the Vice Chair who would like to be able to make a few comments. Mr. Pro Tem, would you like to respond?
I was just going to say, and I do appreciate our good friend from Orange County's remarks, and do respect very much, although we are, we find ourselves with opposite perspectives and viewpoints on a whole variety of issues. I've always much admired his fiscal acumen. We just have a different approach in how we go about doing it. But I would say is that I wouldn't necessarily characterize as those individuals who would benefit from this SB227 as quote unquote being rich, but rather, those from the middle class as well. In fact, a large number of middle class folks who do use the SALT, the state and local tax deduction at the on their federal returns, they would benefit greatly. With regard to nonprofit agencies, 501c3s, the charitable contributions, because of the almost evisceration of the SALT by the Congress and by the White House, individual taxpayers in California will actually have less money to contribute to nonprofit organizations. The idea that the Congress statutorily may eliminate charitable contributions altogether at the national level seems to me a little far-fetched, or very much far-fetched, quite honestly. There's many charitable contributions, folks on the left, folks on the right, point in between that people have enjoyed historically giving. It's been part of the history, tradition, part of our culture in this nation. I don't think that's going to ever be the case where, that the Congress statutorily will ever eliminate 501c3 charitable giving to nonprofit agencies. So that was just my commentary. But again, I respect very much your acumen on a whole variety of issues as it relates to the fiscal aspects of the fund, the general fund.